You ain't gonna be able to see what's to come because you got sin blinding your eyes. Instead of being amongst the brothers and the sisters, you say, I want to be by myself. You understand? You're blind. The Spirit's not dealing with you. That's not good. That's not God. Remember what it said in Wisdom of Solomon 3? It said the end of the wicked generation is horrible. Or you mean to tell your brothers and sisters that now that you got into this truth, you say, I'm good. It's really not for me. I really don't appreciate what I'm learning here. I'm going to go back. And that's what many people will do, believe it or not. Once that persecution and that tribulation start turning up, that's what a lot of people going to do. Hey, the people that you know for a fact be complaining all the time, you know what I'm talking about. All those people, they're not going to be around. They're not going to be around. They're only here for a certain dispensation of time. Today's topic is titled, The Highest Expects Much More. Okay, the highest expects much more. So I want to start off at the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter and the 19th verse. All right, so we're going to dive into today's topic and really get an understanding on what the Most High wants from us. All right, read what you got.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 19.
Come on.
For horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation.
You see that? It says, for horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation. Okay? We're going to come back to this. I got two scriptures that come to mind when we read this particular verse. Give me 2nd Ezra 15 and 26. Okay? So putting things in perspective, we'll start off, I guess, the end game and backtrack a little bit. Knowing if we don't get our acts together, the end won't be so peaceful. It's not going to end up too good for us if we don't get our acts together. But we have the time to do so right now. Read that for me.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 26.
Come on.
For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him.
Right. The scriptures say the Lord knows all those who sin against him. Come on.
And therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction.
Right. And delivereth those unto death and destruction. That's going into the heathen, but it's also going into our people who want to follow after the ways of the heathen. Remember, we were given the commandments, all right? We were given God's laws, meaning we should be that righteous nation on earth. That should be us. Give me that in Isaiah 26 and 2, I believe, about that righteous nation. Okay. Now, so could you read that for me, officer?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse 2.
On.
Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation.
That the what?
That the righteous nation.
So it says, open ye the gates. So the righteous nation, who you think that's talking about? That's talking about the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. When we read the book of Psalms 147, verse 19 on down, right. So it mentions that what? That the laws were only given to one nation of people, and that's the Israelites. And those are the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Do me a favor, officer, read that verse again.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse 2.
Come on.
Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation, which keepeth the truth, may enter in.
Which keepeth the truth. What is the truth? God's commandments, all right? God's commandments. So we read earlier, when we read Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter, 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, about the end of the wicked. I wanted to touch this one as well. Revelation chapter 20, verse 12, all right? This could be the fate if we don't get it together, and that's what today's class is going to be about, the opportunity to get it together, all right? We got to take full advantage of that thing and understand that it's not just going through the motions. What do I mean when I say going through the motions? A lot of times brothers and sisters may think that just keeping the Sabbath day and wearing fringes, that's all that God wants from you. Now, he wants these things from us, but that's not all. That's us coming into this truth, learning our nationality, coming out of the world, departing from the sinful lust, all right, the blatant sin that we face here in Babylon and wherever we're scattered. Yeah, to get ourselves together, to stand up on our feet, like it mentions in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, right? But after some time, this growth should take place, right? It shouldn't be, well, I'm just doing this. I'm just keeping the Sabbath day and I'm good. I'm just wearing fringes and I'm good. I just want to sit here and I just want to do the bare minimum. Is that what the highest is looking for? We'll find out. That's what this class is all about. That's what this class is all about. But read that for us. Revelations 20, verse 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 12.
Come on.
And I saw the dead, small and great.
So right here, John the Revelator, all right, saw the vision that Christ gave him. It says he saw all of the dead, small and great, all right, those of renown that may have been mighty on the earth and those not so much. Come on.
Stand before God.
Come on.
And the books were open.
And the books were open. All right. This is primarily going into the other nations. Okay. Primarily. All right. Let's read on.
And another book was open.
It says, and another book was open. Read.
Which is the book of life.
Mm-hmm.
And the dead were judged out of those things.
Read.
Which were written in the books.
Which was written in those books. Come on.
According to their works.
So all of us are going to have to give an account according to what we've done. Now, mind you, let's get a quick precept real quick. Give me Revelation chapter 13, verse 8. Okay, give me that one real quick. I want to show you something in regards to those who are written in the book. Read that for us.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
It says all that dwell upon the earth will worship the beast. Come on.
Whose names are not written.
Whose names are what?
Not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
So what you got to understand, everybody, well, what I should say is every nation, all right, is not written in the book of life, the Lamb's book of life, meaning that's only for a particular set of people. That righteous nation that we read about in Isaiah 26 and 2, right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Although we're hated and despised, we're that nation undesired, God is telling us that the kingdom, all right, is only for us. Now let's go back to Revelations 20 and 12. Read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 20 and verse 12.
Come on.
And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God.
Mm-hmm.
And the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things.
It says the dead were judged out of those things. Come on.
Which were written in the books.
Uh-huh.
According to their works.
According to their works. Let's read on.
And the sea gave up the dead, which were in it.
Mm-hmm.
And death and hell delivered up the dead, which were in them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death.
Read.
And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
All right, so we know that's the other nations. All right, that's going to be an end of all the nations one day. But this is what you got to understand. If you want to live like a Gentile, right? If you want to live like the other nations and follow after their footsteps, you're going to get the same reward as them, those whose names are not written in the book of life. From there, give me 2nd Ezra. All right, and we're going to spend a little bit of time in Ezra today. 2nd Ezra chapter 8, and I want you to start at verse 3, officer. Watch this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 3.
Read.
There be many created, but few shall be saved.
Right, it says there's many created. All right, that's going into all nations, kindreds, and tongues, and there's many of Israel that are created as well. But everybody's not going to receive the same fate. Read that verse again.
There be many created, but few shall be saved.
Read.
So answered I and said, swallow them down, O my soul. Swallow them down, O my soul understanding.
Right, there's a comma there. So when you see commas, just pump the brakes. All right, because it's there for a reason. We want to focus on certain words. Read it again, verse 4.
So answered I and said, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding.
What?
Understanding.
So it says, knowing that there's many created and only a few are going to be spared or saved, the prophet Ezra says, all right, so I'm going to answer the angel, and this is my response. He says, swallow then down, O my soul, understanding. Why would he respond in that manner? Because he's looking at it, he said, you know what? A lot of people have been created, but you mean to tell me majority of them are going to be destroyed? So there has to be a catch to it, meaning there's a lot of people who don't follow God's commandments. There's a lot of people who want to do their own thing. So I got to make sure within myself, while I have the opportunity, I have to swallow down understanding. Read on.
And devour wisdom.
And do what?
Devour wisdom.
Hey, y'all ever been out to eat before? Okay, let's just say like at a buffet. All right, you got some people who are moderate eaters, meaning they take their time, right? They chew their food, they do a little drink, and just chill, talk casually. But then you got that one brother or that sister, right? You got that one brother or that sister who, as soon as they get their plate, that is an example of devouring. So the prophet Ezra is telling us what? While we have the opportunity, while we got breath in our bodies, right? We got to take full advantage and devour wisdom. Why is that? Why is that? Because that's how we'll be spared. That's how we'll be saved. Remember, it's all about our works. Now, drop that. We paint the picture. Let's go to Luke 17, all right? So don't forget that. Do not forget that example that we just went over in Ezra's. Okay, so watch this. We're going to go to Luke, the 17th chapter, and I want you to start at verse 3. Watch this.
The book of Luke, chapter 17 and verse 3.
Come on.
Take heed to yourselves. If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him. And if he repent, forgive him.
Read.
And if he trespass against thee 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day, turn again to thee, saying, I repent.
Come on.
Thou shalt forgive him.
Right, it says thou shalt forgive him. It didn't say you have to forget. All right. It didn't say put yourself in a vulnerable situation. It just said you have to come to the point where you're able to forgive that brother or that sister. Now watch verse 5. Here's the point.
And the apostle said unto the Lord.
Now, mind you, these are the 12. All right. These are the ones who walk with Christ. Okay. All right. This is the response when Christ answered this question. Verse 5 again.
And the apostle said unto the Lord. Increase our faith.
Do what?
Increase our faith.
Right. So they said, Lord, please increase our faith, because what you're telling me is a hard pill to swallow. All right. Because a lot of us, what? Somebody do something to you. You like to go about your business, say forget them and hold grudges and all of that. But what is Christ telling us right here? All right. In these last days, with all of this stuff going on, we got to be able to accomplish this right here. And then the apostle said, increase our faith, meaning these are the apostles. Who in here can say that we are on the level of the 12? Okay. And some of the 12 are probably back amongst us. You understand? But you understand what I'm saying. So the 12 apostles are like, Lord, please increase our faith. So knowing that this earth was made for many and that only a few will be spared or saved, we have to devour wisdom, meaning while we get an opportunity to get ourselves right and build ourselves up to this point where we could do things like that, okay, amongst each other, we got to take full advantage, okay, because we are not who we think we are. A lot of us, I ain't going to say everybody, but a lot of us need a reality check. A lot of us think we're more holy than what we really are, and we think we're well off and we got it all together, but that's not the case. It's not the case. From there, give me 2 Peter, the first chapter. And I want you to start at verse 5, and I will guide you. I just want a few verses out of this. All right, 2 Peter chapter 1, start at verse 5. Watch this, y'all.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 1 and verse 5. And besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue. Right,
remember it talked about devouring wisdom in Ezra's? So right here it says give all diligence, meaning give it all you got. Read it again.
And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue. And to virtue knowledge.
Read on.
And to knowledge temperance.
Come on.
And to temperance patience. And to patience, godliness.
Watch this.
And to godliness, brotherly kindness.
It says, and to godliness, what?
Brotherly kindness.
Brotherly kindness. So we got to get to that point where we are perfectly gathered together. Like it mentions in Zephaniah 2:1. In tabernacles, the bishops, the deacons, some of the captains kept going into the same thing. Zephaniah 2:1 is not a suggestion. When it says, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, that's not a suggestion. That's a commandment. Okay? So understand, as we see Israel and Gaza, Palestinians over there warring, you see Yemen getting into the mix. Okay? You got them meeting Saudi Arabia in the coming days, or they already done it. Okay? You see the Arab world uniting together, just like it's saying 2 Ezra 15. You and we better be making sure we own this right here. All right? Because this right here is the thing that's going to get us through. Okay? Read verse 7 again.
And to godliness, brotherly kindness.
Come on.
And to brotherly kindness, charity.
It says, and to brotherly kindness, charity. Do me a favor. Jump to verse 9.
Verse 9. But he that lacketh these things is blind.
Uh-oh. I hope y'all see that. It says, the brother or the sister that lacks these intangibles, if you want to say. That's a good word right there. Or you lack these things. All right. It says you are blind. It says you are blind. Okay. Read that verse again.
But he that lacketh these things is blind.
Come on.
And cannot see afar off.
And cannot see afar off. Meaning what? You can't realize the times that we in. You ain't going to be able to understand prophecy, even though Bishop go over it every week. Right? You ain't going to be able to see what's to come because you got sin blinding your eyes. Instead of being amongst the brothers and the sisters, you say, I want to be by myself. You understand? You're blind. The Spirit's not dealing with you. Okay? Read that verse again, verse 9.
But he that lacketh these things,
come on,
is blind.
Read.
And cannot see afar off. And have forgotten that he was purged from his old sins.
You see that? You see that thing right there? It says you forgot that the Lord spared you and called you out of this wicked world in the first place. That's not good. That's not good. Remember what it said in Wisdom of Solomon 3? It said the end of the wicked generation is horrible. Okay? We went through that. So you mean to tell me, or you mean to tell your brothers and sisters that now that you got into this truth, you say, I'm good. It's really not for me. I really don't appreciate what I'm learning here. I'm going to go back. And that's what many people will do, believe it or not. Once that persecution and that tribulation start turning up, that's what a lot of people going to do. Hey, the people that you know for a fact be complaining all the time, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. All those people, they're not going to be around. They're not going to be around. They're only here for a certain dispensation of time. Let's read on. Verse 10.
Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence.
Do what?
Give diligence.
Come on.
To make your calling and election sure.
It says you got to give diligence, all right, to make your calling and your election sure. Read.
For if ye do these things, ye shall never fail.
Right. So it's not just about the bare minimum. It's not about the bare minimum. Okay. And we're going to expound on that today. But before we do, I got a video. That I want you to play. All right. So start it at 13 seconds. Now, I want you to go back to 2 Ezra 8 and 3, officer, and we'll read that and play this video again. All right. So 2 Ezra 8 and 3. Read that.
The book of 2 Ezra. Chapter 8 and verse 3.
Because we're talking about making our calling and election sure. We're making sure that we are meeting the Most High's expectations, right? Read that.
There be many created, but few shall be saved.
Right. It says many created, but few should be saved. If you want to be a part of that few, this is what you should do. Come on.
So answered I and said, swallow then down, O my soul.
It says, swallow then thou, O my soul. Come on.
Understanding. And devour wisdom.
And do what?
Devour wisdom.
And devour wisdom. And devour wisdom. Remember, if you want to devour something, that means you got to be hungry for it. Okay? Some people come in this truth because because God called them first and foremost, obviously. And some people have harder lives or harder situations that they come from, and they're more hungry than others. Okay? But at the end of the day, in order for all of us to make it, or some of us to make it, we got to be hungry. And we got to take full advantage. We can't go through the motions, brothers and sisters. So like the officer just read, we got to devour wisdom. All right, so play this clip. Watch this.
The high performance people, the one thing that they all have in common is they're hungry.
They're hungry. Make sure to stop
Hungry
it
for
at
a better
54.
life. Hungry for change. Hungry for the tough love their parents didn't give them. 87% of everybody that walks the face of the earth, 7.65 billion people, are unhappy. I didn't know till I got grown up and was an adult that everybody didn't have self-esteem. I didn't realize that everybody didn't have self-confidence. I didn't realize that everybody didn't have self-worth. Growth only comes through pain.
Stop.
No pain, no
So it says growth only comes through pain.
gain.
Growth only comes through pain. This also something that he mentioned earlier. If you could rewind that for me from the top again and just stop it when I give the call. Start at 13. Play it one more time to something else he mentioned. But don't forget, it says if you want to get to that next level, you ain't going to grow without pain. All right, press play.
The high performance people, the one thing that they all have in common is they're hungry. Hungry for a better life. Hungry for change. Hungry for the tough love their parents didn't give them. 87%
Right,
of
so you can
everybody
pause that. Meaning, give me Psalms 141 and 5. All right? When a lot of brothers and sisters come into this truth, they receive that tough love and they despise it. They cast it behind their back because they come in with this preconceived notion that they already know everything. All right, because they're an adult, they've been living their life, they went through their various situations, and nobody can tell them anything. If you come in with that mindset, you're not hungry. So when you hear wisdom, you won't recognize what it sounds like, okay? And you'll push it away like a child pushes away broccoli. That's what you would do, okay? Read this verse for me, what I just called, Psalms 141 and 5, please.
The book of Psalms, chapter 141 and verse 5.
Watch this.
Let the righteous smite me. It shall be a kindness.
It shall be a kindness, read.
And let him reprove me.
And let him do what?
Reprove me.
So the Caucasian or the Edomite in that video talked about the successful people, the overachievers. What do? They are hungry for correction. They're hungry for correction. They rise to the occasion. They want to be corrected. Why? So they can learn how to be successful. Because obviously the way they was living wasn't working for them, right? Okay, so they come in and they want to get corrected so they can change. Even though it may be painful, even though it may be a slight on their ego, they're all for it because all of these type of people, all of these successful people, they all have that thing in common. They want to get better. Only way to get better is to get corrected, okay? But I didn't want you to miss the point. Heavy point that was in that video that in order to grow to that next level, it's going to take pain, all right? And you got to be hungry because think about it. When adversity comes, what a lot of black and Hispanic people do, they just chill. They give up because they don't like to go through anything, okay? But in this walk, you've got to understand that this is nothing but adversity. If you come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. That's what this thing is all about. So we're going to give you a real life biblical example of someone who was hungry about knowledge, someone who was hungry about gaining wisdom. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 4. All right, I told you we're going to be in Ezra for a little bit today. All right, and let's see what it did for him. All right, this is the prophet Ezra. Right. So do me a favor, start at verse 21, officer.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 4 and verse 21.
Come on.
For like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to its floods,
Read.
even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth.
Read.
And he that dwelleth above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens.
Right, so this is a back and forth, a dialogue that Ezra is having with the angel. Okay, I want you to continue to read. Watch this.
Then answered I and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, let me have understanding.
You see that? So he got checked right there. He says, hey, you got to stay in your realm. You got to stay in your place. Heavenly things are for the angels, the Most High Christ. Earthly things are for you and the rest of your brothers and sisters. So after that, what did Ezra say? Verse 22?
Verse 22. Then answered I and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, let me have understanding.
Right. So the prophet Ezra, he said, hey, let me have understanding. A lot of people would have took correction, walked away, and said, to hell with it. Okay, because it wasn't as easy as they thought it was going to be. But Ezra said, no, I want to keep going. Let me have the understanding, the most understanding that I can have in this earthly realm. Come on.
For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things.
Hey, that wasn't my intention, to be curious of the things that's too high for me. Come on.
But of such as pass by us daily.
Read.
Namely, wherefore Israel is given up as a reproach to the heathen.
Come on.
And for what caused the people whom thou hast loved is given over unto ungodly nations. And while the law of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to none effect.
Right. So Ezra, he's asking the right questions. He loves his people so much. He's like, hey, why is this happening to us? How do we get out of this situation? And that's the same place that our minds should be. Okay. We shouldn't be comfortable just coming in here, sitting in the back. Okay. Doing nothing. You should put your hand to the plow to do what? To rebuild the decayed state of our nation. That should be our mindset, not just to go through the motions. Let's jump down to verse 25. Watch this.
What will he then do unto his name whereby?
Read it again.
What will he do then unto his name whereby we are called?
Read it again.
What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called?
Right. So what will the Most High do unto his name whereby we are called? Come on.
Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteth fast to pass away.
But you notice something. The angel's like, you know what? You just won't give up. You just won't give up. You keep going at it. I can see that you're hungry. You want to devour wisdom, meaning what? You want to break through. You want to get to that next level. So guess what? You keep asking. All right, you're asking the right questions now. Now I'm going to give you the wisdom. All right, read on.
And cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities.
Read.
But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee.
Come on.
For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come.
Now, we're not going to read all of that in chapter 4 because I want y'all to see, and you can read it on your own. It's very good reading. But I want y'all to see Ezra's hunger for wisdom. Okay? And most importantly, he was focused on the right things. Give me that in 2 Ezra 9:13 real quick. All right, because a lot of brothers and sisters are caught up with what's happening in the world, not to the point where we're watching and praying. You just want your mind's focused on things that have nothing to do with these scriptures. Those are nothing but distractions. Those nothing but distractions that will not help you in the day of temptation. All right, read that.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 13.
Watch this.
And therefore, be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished.
Right, the scripture said, don't be curious on how the ungodly shall be punished. Don't worry about what the heathen do. That's not where our mindset should be. Come on.
And when? But inquire how the righteous shall be saved.
Inquire on what?
How the righteous shall be saved. Whose the world is.
Come on.
And for whom the world is created.
Right. So that's what Ezra, he said, you know what? I apologize. I didn't mean to seek things too high for me. I'm more concerned about this. And we should do what? Follow his example. All right, let's go to chapter 5. All right, let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 5 and give me verse 13.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 13.
Watch this.
To show thee such tokens, I have leave. And if thou wilt pray again, and weep as now, and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things.
So the angel's telling Ezra, say, you know what? If you want to know more, all right, I'm not just going to give it to you. I need to see you sacrifice for more wisdom. Okay? And a lot of us, some of y'all, I'm not going to put myself in that book, but some of you are not willing to do that because you're comfortable doing the, what's a good word for that? The least bit. Okay? The bare minimum. That's the word. See that? I found the word. You're comfortable doing the bare minimum. But the angel, he's requiring something out of Ezra. You know what? If you want even more wisdom, this is what you got to do this time. Read the verse again.
To show thee such tokens, I have leave. And if thou wilt pray again, and weep as now, and fast 7 days.
And do what?
Fast 7 days.
Come on.
Thou shalt hear yet greater things.
Thou shalt hear yet greater things. Watch this. Like I was just mentioning, it's a mindset. We coming right back to that, officer. Give me Sirach 6. All right. Today's topic is titled, The Highest Requires Much More. Much, much more. Give me Sirach 6 and 32. Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 32.
Come on.
My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
Right. It says, if thou wilt, meaning what? If you want, okay? If you want, you can be taught. All right. It's all about a mindset and setting things in the right perspective. Read the verse again.
My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And if thou wilt apply thy mind.
It's all about if. It's all about what you decide to do. Because you're going to hit roadblocks. All right. Things ain't always going to be convenient. And guess what? Everybody ain't going to like you. All right. You're going to have different issues with people. But do like the apostle said. It's, Lord, increase my faith so I can get to where you want me to get to. Okay. Read that one more again.
My son.
Come on.
If thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
Right. And if thou apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. All right. Verse 37. Watch this.
Verse 37. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord.
Come on.
And meditate continually.
And do what?
Meditate continually.
And meditate continually. Read.
In his commandments.
In his commandments. Read.
He shall establish thine heart.
And
give thee wisdom at thine own desire.
At thy what?
Own desire.
All right. So understand, you can get wisdom, and all of us can get wisdom at our own desire if we're willing to do what? Sell out. All right. Sacrifice. All right. Follow after the footsteps of the forefather Ezra's. All right. Watch this from there. Give me same book. Give me chapter 51. Excuse me. All right. Chapter 51. And start at verse 13. Watch this. Sirach 51, and I want verse 13.
The book of Sirach, chapter 51 and verse 13.
Come on.
When I was yet young, or if I went abroad, I desired wisdom.
He did what?
I desired wisdom.
He didn't wait until he's been here 5, 10, 15 years. He said when he was young. As soon as he came in, as soon as he was able, all right, to have some sense, he desired wisdom. Read verse 13 again.
When I was yet young, or ever I went abroad. Come on. I desired wisdom openly in my prayer.
Now, when he says, well, wherever he went abroad, give me that in Sirach chapter 34, verse 9. Okay, watch this. We're coming right back. So he says, any chance he got, even in his youth, and when he went abroad, he desired wisdom. Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 34, verse 9. A man that have traveled knoweth many things.
It says a man that has traveled knows many things. He knows many things. Meaning what? He gets a different perspective from different elders, all right? Different bishops and deacons and captains. All right, he listens to different councils. He learns the ways of the people in strange cities. Okay, he learns to do what? He learns to be selfless. All right, he learns to adjust. Okay? And remember, when we watched that video, one of the key things was all of those successful people had in common is that they were what? They were willing to change and adapt. If you're not willing to change and adapt, you will only go but so far in this truth. You can't blame anybody else. You're stunting your own growth. I want you to read that verse again, verse 9.
A man that have traveled knoweth many things.
Come on.
And he that have much experience will declare wisdom.
Right. And you'll be able to tell their wisdom by when they open up their mouth and speak and are knowledgeable about certain things or different topics or different counsels. Read on.
He that have no experience.
It says that he that have no experience, read.
Knoweth little.
Knoweth little. Come on.
But he that have traveled is full of prudence.
Is he that have traveled is full of prudence. Let's read on.
When I traveled, I saw many things.
Come on.
And I understand more than I can express.
Come on.
I was oft times in danger of death. Yet I was delivered because of these things.
Because of these things, because he gained wisdom. All right, so he's delivered from death because he gained wisdom. Read on.
The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live.
It says the spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live. Come on.
For their hope is in him that saveth them.
That saveth them. Remember what Ezra said in chapter 8. The world was created for many, but only a few will be saved. And who are those few? Those who walk with wisdom. Let's go back to Sirach 51 and 13. All right? Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 51 and verse 13. When I was yet young, or ever I went abroad, I desired wisdom openly in my prayer.
All right, so we got to do what? We got to follow Ezra's example. We got to follow this example as well, okay? To get what is required of us. It's not just coming in here doing the bare minimum. God wants all of us to grow and be the best version of us as he created us to be. All right? Jump down to verse 16.
I bowed down my ear a little and received her and get much learning.
Right. The only way to gather that learning is you got to be humble. All right. It says, I bowed down my ear to learning. You can't learn when you know it all. Okay. You can't learn when somebody says something to you and you turn a deaf ear. There's no growth. There's no fruit that's going to come out of any of that, brothers and sisters. Okay. From there, jump down to verse 19.
My soul hath wrestled with her.
Who's the her? The her is wisdom. All right, so he's saying right here, his soul wrestled with wisdom. What is wisdom? God's commandments. Christ at the end of the day. All right, because if you're breaking God's commandments, you're just betraying Christ, your Savior. All right, read that verse again, verse 19.
My soul hath wrestled with her, and in my doings I was exact.
Come on.
I stretched forth my hands to the heaven above. And bewailed my ignorances of her.
And bewailed my ignorances of her. All right, jump down to verse 28. Watch this.
Verse 28. Get learning with a great sum of money. And get much gold by her.
By her. Verse 30.
Work your work betimes, and in his time he will give you your reward.
Right. In due time you will receive your reward. All right. Now, the reason why we're dealing with Ezra is to show you just that. All right, he didn't give up. He didn't fold. Why? Because he was hungry. In order for us to endure unto the end, all right, and really find out what the highest requires from us, we got to have that same spirit. All right, because if we don't faint, we will get our reward, brothers and sisters. Always believe that. As long as you continue, it's not going to be easy, but as long as you continue, don't give up, you're going to get your due reward. Okay? From there, let's drop that. And give me verse, let's go back to, Sirach. Not Sirach, 2nd Ezra, 5. Let me see. I think I want verse 20 now. But give me one moment. Let me look at it. Yeah, let me hear 20.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5 and verse 20.
Right. So remember, like the officer just said in verse 13, it said that the angel told Ezra, in order to get to that next level, if you want more wisdom, you got to fast 7 days. Let's see if Ezra argued with the angel, or let's see if he followed the counsel. Read verse 20.
And so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping.
Just as the angel Uriel said, come on.
Like as Uriel, the angel commanded me.
Read.
And after 7 days, so it was, that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous unto me again. And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding.
Read.
And I began to talk with the Most High again.
You see that? You see that when he was not hard-headed? All right, when he sacrificed and showed the Lord that he was worthy. Because a lot of people think that you just showing up on the Sabbath is going to make you worthy. No, it's not. You don't do nothing. You don't study. You don't travel. You don't do nothing. And you expect to be on that level? You expect the Lord to walk with you? It don't work like that. It does not work like that. Read verse 22 again.
And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding. And I began to talk with the Most High again.
And he began to talk with the Most High again. Watch this. Matthew 17 and 21. All right, so Ezra was able to talk with the Most High again. Why? Because his spirit was cleansed. Okay, his spirit was cleansed from what? Wickedness, impurity, being carnal. All right, read what you got.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 21. Howbeit this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting.
Right. Some spirits you can only get rid of by prayer and fasting. And the angel Uriel told him straight up. He was like, hey, you got to fast 7 days. In order to get this amount of knowledge, it can't happen in the state that you're in right now. Like I said before, a lot of y'all think you're in a good state. That's the issue. Okay, a lot of us think we good, and no, we jacked up, and we need to cleanse ourselves and fast so we can get closer to the Father. Read that again for me.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 21.
Come on.
Howbeit, this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting.
Wisdom of Solomon 6:19. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 19. So we can see what was taking place with the forefather Ezra right here. Read what you got.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 19. And in corruption maketh us near unto God.
You see that? It says in corruption. All right, what makes us corrupt? The flesh. All right, being in this wicked body, in this wicked world. But the verse said right here, read it again.
And in corruption maketh us near unto God.
It maketh us near unto God, closer unto God, so we can get that understanding, so he can deal with us, so we can be in the spirit. Read on.
Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom.
Right, but that's the thing about it. You're not going to get the kingdom unless you desire it, unless you're hungry for it, unless when you get the opportunity, you're devouring wisdom. If you leave it to chance, you're not following this commandment when it said make your calling and election sure. Stop playing. We all got to stop playing. Tobit 12. All right? Because we have to get into that mindset where we can achieve what the Most High put us here for. Okay? 12 and 8. Watch this. Tobit chapter 12 and verse 8.
The book of Tobit, chapter 12 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
Prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness.
So it says prayer is good with fasting. Pray and fast together. Read it again.
Prayer is good with fasting.
Go ahead.
And alms and righteousness.
And alms of righteousness. Read.
A little with righteousness.
A little with righteousness. Come on.
Is better than much.
Is better than much.
With unrighteousness.
See that? So if you praying and fasting, but you breaking God's commandments, what good is it? All right. Everything got to be there hand in hand. We got to turn away from the sin. We got to fast and pray so we can become incorruptible. All right. Because if you're fasting and praying and every time you get off the fast, you go back to sinning, like it's saying Sirach. Give me that. It's like what, Sirach 34? You know what I'm talking about, right? All right. Pull that one for me, please. It's pointless. We're going through the motion, wasting time. Okay, verse 25, 34 and 25. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 34, verse 25. He that washeth himself after the touching of a dead body, if he touch it again, what availeth his washing? So is it with a man that fasteth for his sins.
Right, so the same manner as a man that fasteth for sins, read.
And goeth again.
And goeth again, read.
And doeth the same.
Come on.
Who will hear his prayer?
Read.
Or what doth his humbling profit him?
What was the point? It was in vain. It was for no reason. All right. So we got to make sure we following after the example of Ezra's, because he was very knowledgeable. Okay, in the scriptures, he studied, he desired wisdom. That's going to keep us. Give me that in Isaiah. It says that as well. I believe it's Isaiah 33. Let me get there with you. Isaiah chapter 33. Let's get that one. All right. Excuse me. Verse 6. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. Watch this.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and verse 6.
Come on.
And wisdom and knowledge.
It says, in wisdom and knowledge
shall be the stability of thy time.
Right. That's what's going to keep us stable. Okay. That's what's going to strengthen us in these crazy times to come. We ain't seen nothing yet, brothers and sisters. We haven't seen anything yet. Read on.
And strength of salvation.
And strength of salvation, meaning what? If we stay devouring wisdom, that's going to be our strength to be saved in that day. That's it. All of it works hand in hand. All right, we can't close the Bible and think that we're going to sustain in those times. It's not going to happen. Read that again.
And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time.
Come on.
And strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure.
Right, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Hey, excuse me, give me 1 Peter 2. All right, because I mentioned a few times so far in the class, we are seeing that it's not just going through the motions. The Most High is requiring much, much more from each and every last one of us. All right, each and every last one of us. All right, we got the greatest knowledge on the face of the earth, brothers and sisters. So we got to understand, as we learn more, okay, as we learn more, understand that we are going to be tried at a higher level. And all of us are going to be proved. Okay, understand that thing. But I want to talk about this growth. Going from the bare minimum, going from the basics, the milk, all right, and growing. All right, 1 Peter 2:1. Read that.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speaking.
And what?
And all evil speaking.
And all evil speaking. Come on.
As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word.
We got to do what?
Desire the sincere milk of the word.
Come on.
That ye may grow thereby.
That we may grow thereby. Read.
If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone.
Right. So we got to understand that we got to put away all of the malice, the guile, the envy, the hatred, the evil speaking, all of that in order for the Most High to walk with us. Because remember what Ezra said? He said once he fasted, all right, cleansed himself up, purified himself, he was able to talk to the Most High again. All right, what we got to understand is if we're doing the bare minimum and we're not hungry, we're not devouring wisdom, Most High not dealing with us at that level. Like it says in Sirach 4, he'll walk with us by crooked ways, but eventually, this is what's going to happen. Watch this. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 11:16. Wisdom of Solomon 11. All right, so if we don't get a clue, this is what's going to happen. Read that.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11 and verse 16. That they might know.
That they might know, come on.
That wherewithal a man sinneth, by the same also shall he be punished.
Right. So if we don't want to get over the vice, if we don't want to get over the hang up, and the thing that you know for a fact is stunting your personal growth, if we don't want to get over that, that is also going to be your demise. You understand? The scripture's telling us straight up. It's like, in Sirach 4, he'll walk with you in crooked ways, but eventually he'll give you to your own ruin if you don't want to give it up. Read that one more time. Come on.
That they might know that wherewithal a man sinneth, by the same also shall he be punished.
It says, by the same also shall he be punished. So I did mention we are well off in regards to the level of knowledge that the Most High has imparted on the bishops and the deacons. All right, because the world is in turmoil right now. A lot of people are scared of what's to come, but we know exactly what's going on. Okay, we know exactly what's going on. All right, and we should be thankful for that thing, not underappreciative and messing over it. Okay, let's go to Sirach chapter 1, verse 19. All right, so we got to be able to get past the bare minimum, okay, and become skillful in this walk. All right, watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 19. Wisdom reigneth down skill and knowledge of understanding.
Right, it says wisdom reigneth down skill and knowledge of understanding. Read on.
And exalteth them to honor.
And does what?
Exalteth them to honor.
Wisdom will allow you to grow. That's all that's saying. Wisdom will allow you to grow. What does the highest require from you? Growth. Because think about it. Think about it. You know the script when find me the script that say desire not a multitude of ungodly children. Give me that. Because we forget about that script. If you're doing the same things, if you're not growing in this truth, if you keep feeling everything and staying the same, you unprofitable. That's what the scripture is saying right there. So if you have wisdom, if wisdom rolling with you, guess what? Growth will come from that wisdom. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Give me that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 16 and verse 1. Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children.
Unprofitable children, meaning what? There ain't no profit, ain't no growth. Do not feel good about that. You may go 2 steps forward, but you retract every year. Don't feel good about that. Don't pat yourself on the back. I'm going to do me. This is how I am. Well, you're going to stay that way and die. You should not feel good about that. Read that verse again, officer.
Desire not a multitude of unprofitable children.
Come on.
Neither delight in ungodly sons.
Neither delight in ungodly sons. And for you leaders out there, if you see no growth, that's a problem. That means something is wrong. Something is wrong. Hey, Deacon Malachi always said, he always gave good counsel. He always said, if something's wrong, fix it. He said, don't keep doing the same thing. That's called insanity, man. All right, you up-and-coming leaders, if you don't see growth, hey, there's something wrong. You got to change it. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. What you're going to realize, a lot of people ain't never going to change, man. And that's the thing about it. You see certain brothers not changing, and you want to cling to that, you crazy. I'll give you advice. If that was me, I say, hell no, my salvation is too serious to me for me to get caught up with you. I see you on the same stuff. Nope. If you on the same stuff, eventually that spirit going to jump off on me, and I'm going to be on the same stuff, walking around in a damn circle, going nowhere. You understand? So be mindful, brothers and sisters. Hey, watch this. We're going to come back to this dot, but I wanted to tie those two in together because I mentioned just a few moments ago about how we are blessed with the knowledge of what's going on in the end times, right? And those out there, they have no clue. Watch this. Give me Jeremiah chapter 50. And give me verse 4. Watch this. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 4. I'm going to tie these in together.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 4.
Come on.
In those days and in that time.
So it says in those days and in that time, read.
Saith the Lord.
Come on.
The children of Israel shall come. They and the children of Judah.
It says they and the children of Judah, northern kingdom and southern. Come on.
Together, going and weeping.
They
shall go and seek the Lord their God.
Right. It says they shall go and seek the Lord their God. Verse 5.
They shall ask the way to Zion. With their faces thitherward.
Meaning what? We, like I mentioned before, we got that knowledge. It should be shame on you if you're not setting a righteous example to the indiscreet. This particular verses, that's what it's talking about, verses 4 and 5. Meaning what? They're going to come to the prophets to ask, what the hell is going on in the last days? Why is this taking place? And if you or that brother or that sister is like, I don't know, I just go every Sabbath. I'm blind because I hate my brother. I hate my sister. You understand? Shame on you. Shame on you. If you can't be that shining light in the time of trouble, all right, for those, because it's gonna come that time. Because a lot of people think what's going on in Palestine with the bombs being dropped over there on the Palestinians, excuse me, they think that's not gonna come to the Americas. They think that's not gonna come to South America. They think that's not gonna come to the Caribbean. It's going to happen. Okay, World War III is approaching. Okay, these things are going to happen on American soil, whether you believe it or not. And in that day, guess what? A lot of those people that's caught up in Christianity, NOI, we still love our brothers and sisters, but we gotta tell the truth. A lot of people that's caught up in that, they are going to come to us seeking the true knowledge. Verse 5 again, watch this.
They shall ask the way to Zion.
Come on.
With their faces thitherward, saying, Come. And let us join ourselves to the Lord.
How are they going to join themselves to the Lord? By joining with us. That's how it's going to take place. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 6. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 6. That's how it's going to take place. In our affliction, that's when we wake up. That's when we seek the Lord. But if you're not ready for that, if you're not ready to be that example, shame on you. Because you didn't want to devour wisdom. Because you didn't want to give your diligence, you want to give it your all. That's your fate. But for the righteous, okay, that want to get it right, make sure you wake up and we get this thing together. Read what you got.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 1 and verse 6.
Come on.
Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
You see that thing? What people don't understand, this is God recompensing tribulation for us. That's what it is. God is recompensing tribulation for us. That's why the bombs is being dropped. All of these people had a hand in our captivity. These are our possessors, who slay us, our oppressors, our colonizers. These are them. And they get in that judgment of the Lord. You got to understand that in these last days, brothers and sisters. Read the verse again.
Seeing it is a righteous thing with God to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you.
Watch this.
And to you who are troubled.
And to you that are troubled, that don't know what the hell going on. You don't know why it's happening. Read.
Rest with us.
Do what?
Rest with us.
Come join with us. Because we are showing you that example of faith. Now go back to Sirach 1 and 19. Don't be unprofitable. Because if you're unprofitable, what's crazy is those people, they're going to come in at the end and you're going to fizzle out and they're going to get that gift that you was laboring for so long, but you missed out. Read this again.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 19.
Come on.
Wisdom reigneth down skill.
It says wisdom reigneth down skill. If wisdom rolling with you, you become better. You don't stay the same. That's unscriptural. That is not the spirit. Read.
And knowledge of understanding.
Come on.
And exalteth them to
And
honor.
does what?
Exalteth.
And exalteth them
to honor.
To honor. That's called growth. That's called growth right there, brothers and sisters. Give me Sirach 21 and 15. All right. This is Sirach chapter 21, verse 15. The highest requires much more, brothers and sisters. Read what you got.
The book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word.
So it says, if a skillful man hears a wise word, go ahead.
He will commend it.
He will do what?
Commend it.
He going to commend that thing. You know? Because he's skillful. If you're skillful, that means what? Wisdom is with you. Read the verse again.
If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it.
He will commend it. Come on.
And add unto it.
And add unto it.
But as soon as one of no understanding hears
But as soon as someone unprofitable who hears these same instructions, read.
It displeaseth him.
It gets them angry. Why is that? Because the Spirit of the Lord is not in them. Like, for example, in my travels, I'm over many different congregations. I deal with many different schools in different countries and regions. And you could tell one camp or one school one thing, and the leaders are like, huh. But you can say to the next person, and they're gonna run to it, and then and then they grow. I've seen it. I haven't been around as long as my seniors, but I've seen it in my little time. So I know that this verse is true. I know that the Bible is true. It's some that are just going to be honorable, and some are going to be dishonorable. Read that. We're coming right back to this, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19 and 20. All right. That's just what it is, brothers and sisters. And it's not about getting in your feelings and why won't they do that? No. Don't do that. Let the will of God take place. But at the end of the day, make sure that you understand what the Most High requires from you. Read what you got.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure.
Right, the foundation of God, that's the only sure foundation. Like you read in 1 Corinthians 3:11. All right, read on.
Having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his.
You see that? God already knows who are his. It's not for us to go through all of that. The Lord knows that. Okay, it's up to us to make our calling and election sure. That's our job. Read.
And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity.
There you go. That's going to be that skillful brother and sister. That's going to be the profitable brother and sister. The brother and sister that's full of growth. Okay, come on.
But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor.
Some to honor.
And some to dishonor.
Right, that house is what? Is the house of Israel. There's going to be some honorable and some dishonorable. Read on.
If a man therefore purge himself from these.
There you go. If you purge yourself from what? The dishonorable. Come on.
He shall be a vessel unto honor.
He shall be a vessel unto honor. Sirach 1:19. One more again. I don't want you to miss it. Because this message is for the righteous. This may be your first time listening to this message. And I want to make sure, because this is my job, to warn, all right, to watch for your soul. I want to make sure you don't miss it. Read what you got.
The book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 19.
Because it said, if you depart from these, you'll rise to honor. Read that.
Wisdom reigneth down skill.
Come on.
And knowledge of understanding. And exalteth them to honor.
And exalteth them to honor. Is that it on that?
That hold her fast.
That hold wisdom fast. That hold wisdom fast. Wisdom will show you probably shouldn't be close to that. Probably should be close to that. That's what wisdom should show you. Sirach 21:15 again. And then we're going to move on, I promise. We're going to move on, all right? Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it.
He will what?
Commend it.
Go ahead.
And add unto it.
And add unto it. Read.
But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him.
It makes him angry because he doesn't want to hear the words of Christ. Because deep down, he or she hates Christ. They don't want to come together in fellowship. They want to distance themselves. Every time leadership says this, they want to go that way. It's because they hate Christ. Read on.
And he casteth it behind his back.
And he casteth it behind his back. Is that it on that?
Yes, sir.
First Ezra, chapter 8, verse 7. So let's see. Was Ezra skillful, or was he someone who cast wisdom behind his back? Let's find out. First Ezra chapter 8, verse 7.
The book of First Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 7.
Go ahead.
For Ezra had very great skill.
He had very what?
Great skill.
Ezra had very great skill. So we should be following after Ezra's example. We should be devouring wisdom. We should be gleaning from every wise discourse. That's what we should do. Read it again.
For Ezra had very great skill.
Come on.
So that he omitted nothing.
So he did what?
Omitted nothing.
Come on.
Of the law and commandments of the Lord.
But did what?
But taught all Israel the ordinances and judgments.
That's what we should do. Okay? That's what we should do. All right, now we're about to switch gears. All right? About to switch gears. Pull up that next video, please. Just play it to 1 minute and 54 seconds. Okay? All right, because when it comes down to it, brothers and sisters, it's, are you going to stay a child forever? Or are you actually going to grow up to that man or that woman that you're supposed to be? Okay, play this.
We all know it takes a long time to grow up, not only biologically, but psychologically. There's a saying among psychiatrists that it takes 50 years to overcome the first 20. Here's the good news. Unlike other species, we are not restrained by our instincts alone. We are able to learn from our parents, our experiences, and our culture. Here's the bad news. Nobody matures without effort.
Stop.
It doesn't happen naturally.
Stop. This is what you got to understand. You see that? Remember what it said? Read that in Sirach 6 and 32 again. That's why we stress that. So just to say Professor Esau says something heavy. It said if you want to mature, it takes effort. And that's what separates certain brothers from other brothers, okay? It got one that actually is trying to accomplish something. So he's going to leave his peers in the dust. But some of y'all, you want to accomplish friendships that are no good for you. But a lot, y'all just like to stay comfortable and you're really not here to accomplish nothing. And it shows. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 32.
Come on.
My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
It says, if you want to grow. Because when you get taught something, you learn. You get smarter. You get wiser. But it all goes back to what? If you want to do it. Just like Professor Esau said, it takes effort to mature. Read it again.
My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And that thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent.
Yes. All right, drop that. Let's go back to the video. All right, remember we're going to 1:54. All right, play that.
It takes a lot of hard work. But what does it mean to be mature? Good question. So let's answer it. I have identified 5 characteristics of maturity. If you work to possess them all, you will have a happier, deeper, and more productive life. 1. Taking control. Of course, you had no choice what era you were born in, or where you were born, or who your parents are. But with each year of childhood, you attain more and more capacity to chart your own course. Yes, society and fate play a role, but cultivating your ability and willingness to make your own decisions expands your ability to influence how your life unfolds.
And you can keep
the only way to achieve maturity.
What he's saying is, hey, circumstances, trials, adversity comes, but it's up to you on how you handle that thing, man. It's still up to you at the end of the day how you handle these situations. All right, go back to the video. So you can't blame it on nobody else. Play that.
Is to take charge of your life. Nothing empowers you as much as exercising that control. Refusing to act, waiting to be rescued, and seeing yourself as a victim are sure signs of immaturity. 2. Taking responsibility. I mean this in 2 ways. The first way is simply to acknowledge that you're responsible for what you do. If you make a mistake, acknowledge it. Don't alibi and don't blame others. This is an easy thing to say, but we all know it's very hard to do. A mature person does it. A mature person takes responsibility. Second is the...
All right, that's 1:54? All right, excellent, excellent. Hey, give me that Proverbs 18 and 14. All right, watch this. Proverbs 18 and 14. All right, so we getting somewhere today. All right, maturity. In order for us to get to what God requires of us, we must mature in this truth. Read what you got.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity.
Right, so it says the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity. Whatever trial, whatever vice, whatever you're going through, it's your spirit that will sustain you. Okay, it's your spirit that will sustain you. Read on.
But a wounded spirit, who can bear?
It says, but a wounded spirit, one that cannot get over adversity or correction, who can bear? So it all comes down to what we stated earlier. It's all about how you react. Okay? You can destroy yourself. Okay? You could get overwhelmed. You could do all of that and hit rock bottom and just give up. Or your spirit can do what? Lift you up. Okay? And if you're not born with that spirit, what should you do? You should be hungry. All right? And seek those who got stronger spirits than yourself so you can pick yourself up. That's what you got to do. All right? From there, give me, so that was Proverbs, right?
Yes, sir.
Give me 2 Timothy 2:24. Okay? 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 24. All right? Going into this maturity. Okay, watch this, y'all.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 24. And the servant of the Lord must not strive.
Must not what?
Strive.
All right, come on. It shouldn't be about strife. If you're serving the Lord, you shouldn't always be in stuff. If that's you and you're like, damn, man, I got a problem with everybody. There's some soul searching you need to do. I need to fix this. I need to go back to the drawing board because this is stunning my growth. I can't speak with the Most High right now. You understand? Like Ezra said, once he got himself cleansed and purified, do that fasting, he could hear from the highest again. Okay? Read that verse again.
And the servant of the Lord must not strive. But be gentle unto all men.
Come on.
Apt to teach.
Apt to teach, come on.
Patient. And meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves.
Right, and meekness, so you can instruct those, so you can have set an example to those who seek learning. All right, from there, Psalms 26. Okay, going into maturity. All right, to get to that point. All right, Psalms 26, and I want verse 1. Watch this.
The book of Psalms, chapter 26 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord. Therefore I shall not slide.
I shall not what?
Slide.
Right. So we got to be rooted and have some integrity. Okay, and that comes from what? Wisdom. That comes from counsel, building yourself up. All right, Luke 21 and 19. All right. All right, when it comes to maturity, it's all about tolerance, all about patience. Think about it. Think about, why do babies scream out and cry and have temper tantrums and get angry? Because they can't suppress their emotions. So what do you call an adult that does the same things? A big baby. That's what you call it. A big baby. Because you have not developed the spiritual aptitude to control your emotion. Read what you got.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 19.
Come on.
In your patience, possess ye your soul.
Right. In your patience, possess ye your soul. That's what this is all about. Maturing in its truth. How you do it? I did not know lust until the law says thou shalt not covet. You understand? Meaning what? You got to learn to suppress those lusts, those emotions. That's what this thing is about. That's called growth. That's called maturity. Back to 2nd Ezra 9. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 9. I want verse 23. Okay? Watch this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 days more.
Right. So Uriel told Ezra to fast. No, he said, cease from eating 7 days more. Now he's going to give him another diet. Watch this. Read it again.
Nevertheless.
Come on.
If thou wilt cease yet 7 days more.
Uh-huh.
But thou shalt not fast in them.
Watch this.
But go into a field of flowers. Where no house is builded.
Come on.
And eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh.
Do what?
Taste no flesh.
Come on.
Drink no wine. But eat flowers only.
Right. This is talking about herbs. It's talking about herbs. It said, do this. You fasted before. Now, clean your eating up. Okay? Clean your eating up. This is not just for Ezra's. This is for us. Because a lot of us like to just bypass this and just act like, oh, that was for that time and that situation. Romans 15 and 4. Read that. Romans 15 and 4. And a lot of you need to run to this because some of you overweight. Some of you know he is. You big. You're large. All right? And that's not godly. It's not godly. It ain't. Get mad. It is what it is. Read what you got.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4.
Come on.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Were written for our what?
Learning.
For our what?
Learning.
Read.
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Might have hope to endure unto the end, brothers and sisters. Go back. I want verse 24 and 25.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 24.
Come on.
But go into a field of flowers, where no house is built.
Come on.
And eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh. Drink no wine, but eat flowers only.
25.
And pray unto the highest continually.
Come on.
Then will I come and talk with thee.
Some of y'all, you ain't right because you a glutton and you're fat and you just can't put it down. So the spirit ain't with you. Y'all like, damn, Cap, you lose. Hey, that's what the Bible says, man. Don't get mad at me. It's true. So if you want the Spirit of the Lord to continue to talk to you, you got to sacrifice. This is what we're learning in these last days. It ain't just coming in here on the Sabbaths and the new moons. What does the highest really require of you? And you know good and well what it is. But you keep ignoring it. And some of y'all may be tuning a deaf ear right now to my voice. I don't know. But we just reading the Bible. Okay, this is what's going to get us better. This is going to get us better. Sirach 37:28. All right, Sirach chapter 37, verse 28. Watch
the book
this.
of Sirach, chapter 37 and verse 28. For all things are not profitable for all men.
You see that? The Bible is talking about diet, food. It says all things are not profitable to all men. Read.
Neither hath every soul pleasure in everything.
Come on.
Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing,
Uh-huh.
nor too greedy upon meat.
Right. It say, nor too greedy upon meats. Read.
For excess of meat bringeth sickness,
Come on.
and surfeiting will turn into choler.
Read.
But surfeiting have many, by surfeiting have many perished.
Uh-huh.
But he that taketh heed prolongeth his life.
Hey, IT, pull that up, because surfeiting is not a typical black word. All right, so let's get the understanding of what surfeiting is going into. But what is the scripture telling us? The angel, think about it. This is an angel, right? The angels dwell where? In heaven. Remember what Ezra said once he fasted the first time? Remember what Ezra said when he fasted the first time? He said, now he began to speak with the highest, with the most high again. So if an angel is telling you to fast, if an angel is telling you to lay off of the meat, he might know what he's talking about. Not saying you got to go vegan, but that should not be your everyday diet. All right, surfeiting. Read that for us.
The definition of surfeit: cause someone to desire no more of something as a result of having consumed or done it to excess.
Right, when you're living in excess, no discipline. Okay, drop that. Give me the one in Luke 21. All right, Luke chapter 21. All right, so a lot of people do surfeiting on food, but some people live like that. They live in excess. They have no control over their lust, over their desires. All right, read this. Luke 21, verse 34.
The book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 34.
Come on.
And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting.
Right, when you just can't control yourself, undisciplined. Come on.
And drunkenness.
Uh-huh.
And cares of this life.
Read.
And so that day come upon you unaware.
What day is that talking about? The return of Messiah. These perilous times now. Meaning what? You stop being disciplined according to God's words and you start living how you want to live. Guess what? You're going to end up betraying. You're going to end up blaspheming. Why? Because you're pleasuring yourself instead of what? Abstaining. Give me that in 2 Ezra 7. Okay. Instead of abstaining, you're over here giving yourself to any and everything that you want. Give me that, 2 Ezra 7, verse 55.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 55.
Start at verse 53.
Verse 53. And that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever.
Come on.
Wherein is security and medicine.
Read.
Since we shall not enter into it.
Come on.
For we have walked in unpleasant places, and at the faces of them which have used abstinence.
But should use what?
Abstinence.
The root word of abstinence is abstain. The opposite of surfeiting. It says, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall what?
Shall shine above the stars.
Shall shine above the stars. They're going to get that reward. But those who live in the manner of surfeiting, you're going to miss out on your reward. Drop that. All right, let's go to Matthew 7 and 13. We're almost done. Let's go to Matthew 7 and 13.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
Enter ye in at the straight gate.
It says what?
Enter ye in at the straight gate.
Hey, this straight is spelled S-T-R-A-I-T. This is strict. This means strict. Discipline. All right, that's what this is going into. Read that again.
Enter ye in at the straight gate.
Come on.
For wide is the gate.
For wide is the gate. That's the surfeiting. All right, come on.
And broad is the way.
Uh-huh.
That leadeth to destruction.
Right. The wide and broad way is the surfeiting. That's going to lead you to destruction. Come on.
And many there be which go in thereat.
Come on.
Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life.
Come on.
And few there be that find it.
And how many?
Few there be that find it.
Right. And there's only going to be a few that find it. And those are going to be those that devour wisdom. That's going to be the ones who find it. 2 Ezra 7:19.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 19.
Come on. Start at 18.
Verse 18. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things.
Shall suffer straight things. Come on.
And hope for why?
Come on.
For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things. And yet shall not see the why. And he said unto me, there is no judge above God, and none that have understanding above the highest.
Right, it says none that have understanding above the highest. So in verse 18, it mentions that the righteous are going to suffer just like the wicked is going to suffer. But the difference is, even though the righteous are going to suffer through these tribulations, they are not going to blaspheme. Why? Because they lived a disciplined life. They abstain. So when the trials come, they're going to be able to sustain. But the wicked, they're going to give in and be destroyed and not going to enter in. Jump down to verse 21. No, just read 20.
For there be many that perish in this life.
Come on.
Because they despise the law of God that is set before them.
Because they hate discipline. All right? They don't want to devour wisdom. It's irksome to them when they hear a wise word. Read.
For God hath given straight commandment.
It says, but God hath given straight commandment, strict commandment, come on.
To such as came. What they should do to live.
Read.
Even as they came. And what they should observe to avoid punishment.
Right, and that should be us. Just like when Ezra heard that in 2 Ezra 8, what did he say? He said, oh, snap. The world was created for many, but only few going to be saved. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to respond and say, while I have breath in my body, I'm going to devour wisdom. Okay, and that's the only way that we are going to achieve what the Most High requires from each and every last one of us. All right, from there. I kind of went off on a tangent. I got to bring myself back. Let's go back to 2 Ezra 9. All right, we're almost done. 2 Ezra 9, verse 25.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 25.
Come on.
And pray unto the highest continually.
From there, let's go back to the video. Start at 2 minutes and 21 seconds, and then go to 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
Containing emotions. I would never suggest that you should ignore your emotions, but you have to learn to contain them. Immature people lash out at their boss or their coworker if something doesn't go their way, or argue with their spouse when they come home, or turn to alcohol or drugs because of a rough day. I often tell my patients that maturity can be measured by how much anxiety they can tolerate without acting out inappropriately against themselves or others. Mature people express their emotions in the right place, at the right time, in the right way. We are emotional beings, but we should never let go of the steering wheel. That is, we need to learn how and when to contain our emotions. 4.
Stop.
Having
Give me Sirach.
Perspective.
Give me Sirach 18 and 14. Okay? Because it's all about living a disciplined life, not surfeiting, not saying whatever the hell you want to do in any space. That's a child. That's what a child would do. Okay? And think about like when we read in Deuteronomy, pull that. Let's get that real quick. Because this is many of you adults. Because you never grew up. All right? You ain't no damn good. It is what it is. Just like Joe Clark said. That's why he threw them bastards out. All right, a lot of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. You don't even know what I'm talking about right now. All right? But read what you got. Deuteronomy. No, that's not what I want. It's not Deuteronomy 18.
It's 21 to 18.
21 to 18. Thank you.
Yes, sir. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21 and verse 18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son.
Come on.
Which will not obey the voice of his father. Or the voice of his mother.
Come on.
And that, when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them.
He won't hearken. He won't take correction from nobody. Undisciplined. And that's many adults in this truth. Read on.
Then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and to the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He was a glutton and a drunkard. And now the men of his city shall stone him with stones.
Hey, Wisdom of Solomon 16:11, again for the second time. If you can't overcome it, that's the same way you gonna be destroyed. Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 16, I think. Yeah, read that again.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
That they might know that wherewithal a man sinneth.
Right, the way a man sinneth, come on.
By the same also.
The same way he sinned, come on.
Shall he be punished.
That's how he gonna be punished, because you ain't want to stop. That's how you gonna be punished. Go back to Sirach 18. I want verse 14 and then verse 24. Okay? All right, so we got to receive discipline. All right, we got to grow up and mature. All right, read this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 18 and verse 14.
Uh-huh.
He that have mercy on them that receive discipline.
God said he's going to have mercy on those that receive his discipline, who are not like that stubborn child, that gluttonous, that drunkard. Come on.
And that diligently seek after his judgment.
Who devour wisdom. Verse 24.
Verse 24.
Uh-huh.
Think upon the wrath.
It says do what?
Think upon the wrath.
Hey, it's very easy to think upon the wrath right now. If your mind ain't constantly thinking about the wrath or the end to come every day, something wrong with you. It's on the news. It's on social media. It's everywhere. Right now, read it again.
Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end.
Come on.
In the time of vengeance, when he shall turn away his face.
That should give you the motivation to devour wisdom, to keep you motivated. Revelation 18:21. Okay?
The book
should
of
be
Revelation.
easier for us in these last days to get our acts together, because we see it's about to be over. Read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 21.
Uh-huh.
And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down.
That's called wrath, okay? If you didn't understand, that's called wrath. It said with great violence shall Babylon, and if you did not know, United States of America is Babylon the Great, okay? Understand that thing. All right, read that last part again. Shall be thrown down.
And the great city Babylon shall be thrown down.
Come on.
And shall be found no more at all.
And shall be found no more at all. So it says, think upon this. Come on.
And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee.
Come on.
And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee.
Mm-hmm.
And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee.
So understand, everything that you know today, all right, all of these businesses, all these metropolitans, they ain't going to be here once the wrath touches Babylon. That's why we got to think upon the wrath of what's to come. All right, so we're not making excuses every day for Babylon. I understand sometimes you got to maybe work or do certain things, but it shouldn't be every damn day. You understand? What the hell, you trying to keep this thing going, or you trying to tear it down? Make up your mind, black and Hispanic man. Read on.
And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee.
Come on.
And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
For by thy sorcery.
For by that what?
Sorceries.
You are under a spell if you want to keep Babylon going. But the thing about it, I ain't going to leave you sisters out. A lot of y'all just like Lot's wife. And a lot of y'all don't even realize that you caught in the spell. Okay? It's time to come out of her. Read on.
For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived.
Including some of you Israelites. Come on.
And in her was found the blood of the blood of prophets.
It says in Babylon was found the blood of the prophets. That's showing you what? We are the prophets of the Most High God. Understand that thing. It's telling you the prophets would be here in the last days. Read.
And of saints.
Come on. And of the people of God. Come on.
And of all that was slain upon the earth.
And upon all that was slain upon the earth. Give me Ephesians 5 and 17. All right. Ephesians chapter 5, and I want verse. I'm in the wrong chapter. I was like, what? Verse 17. 16.
The book of Ephesians, Chapter 5 and verse 16.
Come on.
Redeeming the time.
Doing what?
Redeeming the time.
All right, so we got to take full advantage, brothers and sisters. Devour wisdom while we still have a chance. Go ahead.
Because the days are evil.
Because why?
The days are evil.
The scripture said, think upon wrath. From there, let's go to Luke chapter 12. All right. Luke chapter 12, and we're going to verse 42. Luke 12 and 42.
The book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 42.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said, who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season?
You know, I'm going to jump to verse 48 for the sake of time. Read that.
Verse 48. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes.
Go ahead.
For unto whosoever much is given, of him shall be much required.
You see that? It says, for unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. To him shall be much required. What does the highest require of you? He requires much, much more than going through the motions. If we want to see the kingdom, we better knuckle up and get ready, because there's a lot more in store. 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 2. All right? 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 2. Watch this.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 4 and verse 2.
Start at 1.
Verse 1. Let a man so account of us and of the ministers of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful.
You see that? It is a requirement that we be found faithful. Revelations 12 and 12. It's a requirement that we be found faithful. Why is that? Why is that? Revelations 12 and 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12 and verse 12.
Come on.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Right, because destruction's coming to the earth. Danger's coming to the earth. Read.
And of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you.
Right, for the devil is come down unto us, dwelling on the earth in these times. This is why we must remain faithful. Read.
Having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
Right, he knoweth he has a short time left, so the tribulations, the perilous times are going to increase. This is why the highest requires so much more from you, because in that day, we got to be willing to lay down our life for Messiah. Understand that thing. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 3. Okay, we got to get in that mindset. Okay, because this is this is it right here. All praise to the Father. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 3.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 3. For power is given you of the Lord.
It says power comes from the Lord. Come on.
And sovereignty from the highest.
Right, and deliverance, salvation from the highest. Read.
Who shall try your work.
Who shall do what?
Try your work.
All of us are going to get proved, brothers and sisters. Every last one of us is going to get proved to see if we are who we say we are. Read.
And search out your counsel.
And search out our counsels. All right. Last three. Give me Revelations 2:10. Revelations chapter 2, verse 10.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer.
Right. It says, fear none of those things which we shall suffer. Go ahead.
Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
Right. Remember, it says the devil cometh down to the earth. And when he gets to the earth, which he's been here for some times, it says he's going to cast many of us into prison. Who's going to do that? Is he going to have a pitchfork and horns? No. It's going to be your friendly neighborhood white man. Read.
That ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death.
It says do what?
Be thou faithful unto death.
Be thou faithful unto death. 2 Maccabees 13 and 12. All right, read that.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 13 and verse 12. So when they had all done this together, and besought the merciful Lord with weeping and fasting, and lying flat upon the ground 3 days long, Judas, having exhorted them, commanded that they should be in a readiness.
Right. Commanded that they should be in a readiness. And we should be in the same mindset. All right. We should be in the same mindset. Come on.
And Judas, being a part with the elders, determined before the king's host should enter into Judea and get the city, to go forth and try the matter in flight by the help of the Lord. So when they had committed all to the creator of the world.
Right. So when he had committed all to the creator of the world, come on.
And exhorted his soldiers.
And did what?
Exhorted his soldiers.
Come on.
To fight manfully. Even unto death.
Even unto what?
Death.
Right. So he said he committed everything to the highest, the creator of the world, and exhorted the brethren to be ready to lose their life for this truth. Read.
For the laws.
For the laws, meaning what? We're not going to blaspheme. Okay, come on.
The temple. The city. The country.
The country. Think about it. You got Esau over here getting deployed. Why? Because they fighting for their country. It's about time that we step up and fight for our country. Understand that. Israel is a people before it was a place. It's time for us to fight for our heritage. Come on.
And the commonwealth. He camped by Modin.
Right. And remember, this is a spiritual fight. This ain't picking up on weapons or nothing like that. This is showing ourselves worthy to the Most High. All right. Romans 14:7. Okay. Romans 14:7. Then we'll end with Micah 6. Okay. So I pray y'all got something from today's lesson. All right. Something we all can apply to ourselves. Okay. Read that for me.
The book of Romans, chapter 14 and verse 7. For none of us liveth to himself.
Come on.
And no man dieth to himself.
Right. We didn't give birth to ourselves. We didn't create ourselves. Go ahead.
For whether we live unto the Lord.
Right. We live unto the Lord with every fiber in our being. Come on.
And whether we die unto the Lord.
Come on.
Whether we live therefore or die, we are the Lord's.
Right. Whether we live or die, we are the Lord's. Whether we live or die, we are the Lord's. We got to remember these things and meditate on these things. Let's end right here. And what I call? Micah 6. Yeah, Micah 6. Yeah, that's what I call it. All right, start at verse 1.
The book of Micah, chapter 6 and verse 1. Hear ye now what the Lord said. Arise, contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth.
Come on.
For the Lord hath a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel.
Come on.
O my people, what have I done unto thee? And wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me.
Come on.
For I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed thee out of the house of servants. And I sent before thee Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. O my people, remember now what Balak king of Moab consulted, and what Balaam son of Beor answered him from Shittim unto Gilgal, that ye may know the righteousness of the Lord.
Right, so we have all of these examples, all of these great testimonies, all of this rich history of the Most High fighting for us, okay? So we owe it to him. You understand? We owe it for him. At the end of the day, the highest requires much more. Yes, he requires our lives, brothers and sisters, okay? Because he's defended us and delivered us since the beginning. All right. So understand that. Let's read on.
Wherewith shall I come before the Lord and bow myself before the high God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves of a year old?
All right. So it says you're going to come before him with burnt offerings. Because what is he telling you? He never cared about that. Also, I never cared about sacrifice. That was never the intentions. All right. Read on.
Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000 of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul?
Come on.
He have showed thee, O man, what is good.
Right. So the Most High has showed us what is good. All right, come on.
And what doth the Lord require of thee? But to do justly.
So at the end of the day, the Most High wants us to be just. Come on.
And to love mercy.
And to love mercy, dealing with each other right. Come on.
And to walk humbly with thy God.
Right. And bow down our ears and learn. All right. So, hey, at the end of the day, all right, I pray that all of us got something from today's class. What does the highest require? Or the highest requires much more. Okay. And we're going to close out right there. And with that, we say shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example.